And you're the president, right? Do I have that?
I am.
Okay.
President.
Yeah.
Of
The president. Yeah.
Of
You must address me as
Aeon.
Mr.
Eon.
President.
God
Aeon
damn
Lasers.
it, Eon.
Yeah.
Are you gonna introduce him?
Sure, because apparently I'm the only one that knows how to say Eon.
You.
Oh, you did a great job. It sounds.
And welcome back to the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
How you doing? Once again, you are sick.
Yep. Miserable.
Okay.
So, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, and you can't take anything because you're still breastfeeding.
Yep. Gotta love my life.
And yeah, you just have to soak in it.
And Jackson is sick as well, which, you know, it's always bad enough when you're sick, but then when you also have to take care of someone else who's sick, it's just...
Yep.
Tried to nap today. That failed horribly.
So JR was so kind to bring another cold from school home.
It's very sweet of him.
This time, though, he fared fairly well. All he has is a cough.
He has not
and he hasn't
lost
stopped.
any energy.
Nope.
He just had this like nasty cough. But it didn't stop him at all.
But it stopped you.
Dead in my fucking tracks. I had so much I needed to do today, and I accomplished zero of it except this podcast. So
right, and even that was up in the air for a while.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, wanted to reschedule, but it's just hard because we have so much going on already that rescheduling and then also having the Patreon release on Fridays makes it so that we don't really have that much of a cushion.
Right.
I was just thinking here as we were like setting up that maybe we kind of like double up one week and so that we kind of have like a week cushion to help us out in situations like this. But yeah, I mean, I've really been looking forward to this one, so I didn't really want to put it off.
Right.
And we just don't have time in the schedule to do so. So here we are pushing through because that's what, us business owners got to do.
Yeah. When you're your boss, you can't call out sick. No,
I didn't think about that part, very thoroughly when I decided to be, it's kind of like you get them, but not really.
Right. Right.
Like if I didn't have anything to do, it would be fantastic.
Right.
But I do.
Of course. Right.
Like I have, a big order I got that I finished, but that I need to get all like packed up and, ready to go because he needs it for an event and.
Right. And then then the fact that the baby got sick as well adds another layer to it.
Right. Poor thing. We gave him Tylenol, his first dose of medicine in his young age.
Right.
And it seemed to kind of calm him down.
Take the edge off a little.
He might have a
ear infection.
Ear infection. We'll find out tomorrow.
Yes, we will. It'll be fun.
So I'm gonna apologize in advance about just any annoying things that come from me.
Nasally sniffles.
Just the smacking again because that was because I was sick last night. Just all of it. I'm sorry. Doing my best. Okay, so let's update our shout outs for patrons.
Oh, yes. Let's do that.
We have one that we missed last week due to some, I don't know, weird
technical
error.
Stuff
technical thing.
Patreon side.
And so MJ Torres, we got her, who she wasn't mentioned last week.
Not to be confused with Michael Jackson.
Yeah. And then we actually have 2 new patrons. We got Jenna Stearns, who's been on the show a couple times, and she's actually opening her store. Don't you start, Jackson. So Jenna is actually, I think, finally opening her storefront in the next week or so. So we'll have to have her on again soon to get a little update on
see
how that's going.
Right, with COVID and everything. Yeah.
And then Josie Landon is our newest patron. So
welcome aboard.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody, for your support. We're going to have, hopefully some, new ways for you guys to help us out, to get this podcast studio, moving along.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to get a studio before I get a hat rack.
Here we fucking go. Not today, husband. Not today.
Although
okay?
I am really excited for this podcast studio.
Yes.
To get you in the garage and all this stuff out there with you.
Yeah. So we're working on an Amazon wish list that people can, purchase from, and then you can be like, oh, I bought them that mic, or I bought them those headphones, or whatever. So,
and yes, we are intently exploring on the video option as well.
Yes, definitely. We've looked at cameras and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So big things coming. Oh, and then the one last update we have from last week is I always feel weird calling her a babysitter, but I guess it's a babysitter.
Yeah, she's going to be watching Jackson for a couple hours twice a week.
Which is another thing that the stupid cold ruined, was that she was supposed to be coming tomorrow and Thursday, the first, full, quote, full week, because she's supposed to come twice a week.
Yeah, we had a interview / test run last week.
Tuesday, and it went well.
Yeah.
She basically just fed him and held him.
Right.
Which is great because it meant I didn't have to and you didn't have to.
Right. And because
you got to work on
and
the
also that
podcast
he didn't have to be put in his little swing.
Right. Yeah.
Rocker.
Yeah.
thing.
He got one-on-one attention that he might not have gotten otherwise. Right. So, so I'm hopeful to see how that continues to go, as I get more comfortable with, her and all that. And hopefully it'll mean I have a good, solid, basically 8 hours a week.
Right.
Where it's
dedicated to work.
Laser focused on my work. So we'll see.
Yeah. She even offered to watch him in JR's room.
Yeah, so that
obviously until we set up his room.
So because there's a nice lazy boy in there, and then it's a little bit more separated from me, and she's already offering us date nights and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely promising.
Yes, we are hopeful, to say the least.
Yeah. You may have noticed teasers and excerpts from last week's podcast posted periodically. Yeah, it's a new thing we're trying out.
Yeah. So a few of them I've considered, but didn't really know how to go about it, execution wise. And then, we had our episode last week with Mark Collier and with Big Blue Laser Designs, and he had a ton of just amazing ideas, just to kind of get this thing rolling and growing and moving and grooving. So we were super thankful for all the suggestions and stuff that he had. And it kind of it forced us to, it motivated us to get moving on things we had kind of already that were considered and didn't really think about. And
they were on the back burner. It brought it to the forefront, definitely. Yeah.
So, thanks again. Shout out again to Mark, another one of our Patreon.
Another one.
A patron, I guess. Yeah. So you'll see some, hopefully you guys like the little clip that we gave as a teaser, and then the memes we're going to start doing, from, funny or quality sections of the podcast. Yeah. And just get more engagement, on all the media. So if you see me post, give a like or a comment or something, just to kind of, that stupid algorithm we're always fighting against.
We're slaves to.
Yeah. And on that note, shall we call our guest?
Yeah, let's get the guest on the line.
All right.
We'll be right back.
BRB.
Hey, just wanted to remind you to check us out on Patreon, where you can get Friday access to episodes, shoutouts, and free files depending on your tier. And if you aren't already, follow us at The Riley Black Project on Instagram and join the group on Facebook, where you can give us show ideas, critiques, and meet new people from the community. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, rate, review. Let us know how we're doing. Now, back to the show.
Go.
And we are back with a big fish guest.
Big fish?
A big fish guest. This is a big one. I don't know anything about this, and I know it's a big one. We have Danny Martinez of Aeon Lasers USA on the line.
Yeah.
President.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, I told you it's a big fish.
Thanks. That was a great introduction. Well done.
Thank you.
We didn't practice that at all.
At all. Not even a little bit. How's it going, man?
Oh man, it's going, and it won't stop. It just keeps going.
Are you sleeping ever?
Oh yeah, no,
Okay,
I have been getting my sleep.
Good.
I'm fortunate enough to have a really good team.
Awesome.
And support system, down to even my son. I mean, even he's super cooperative and just decides like I'm going to be the perfect child and just go to sleep and.
Oh yeah, I sense some. Is there some sarcasm in there? So how old is your son?
I was very blessed. I was very blessed. Mason is now 19 months old.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He was a COVID baby.
Same. We got one of those.
Yep.
He was actually born at the very beginning of COVID when we were still trying to convince nurses that they should wear a mask. And they were like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Like, that's not mandated."
Oh, wow!
It was early.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really early. It was he was actually born April 1st of 2020.
Wow.
So yeah, April Fool's baby too. It was a lot of fun. And literally like the day he was born and we were getting I think the following day we were about to leave the hospital and they were like. All the nurses come in wearing masks. We're like, what's going on? They're like, oh yeah, they just passed this, this rule. We all have to, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic.
Kind of like how we were saying this whole time.
Yeah. Glad we all agreed on the last day we're here.
Right.
But it was pretty nerve wracking. It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It was nerve wracking for me, and it was starting to. Like it was ending-ish.
Quotes. Yeah. Quote endings.
John wasn't able to go to like any of my appointments. He went to I think the last two appointments.
Or 3, yeah. And even then.
Yeah.
Like I remember sitting outside in the waiting room for one of them because they still wouldn't let me in.
Right. Cool. Because they said you were allowed, so you came, and then they're like, the room's too small. He has to go outside.
It wasn't because of COVID. It was because of.
It was. Oh, we were pissed, and we waited like 2 hours for that appointment. So that was not a good day for them.
No.
She was like, "Do you want me to go talk to him?" And I was like, "That probably is not a good idea."
I was so hot.
Yeah. I was like, let's just leave him alone. So
I did say it right at the intro, right? It's Aeon, not Aeon. Let's put this to bed.
Right. Is the A silent?
According to Webster's dictionary, right? It's the A is silent.
Oh.
And Aeon is basically a measure of time and essentially a billion years if you want to get specific.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is basically how long it's felt for me to have been working here. And it's super fitting for the role that I'm in. Like, okay, eternity. So, pretty awesome. And so they've got this whole celestial thing going, and so you have the Miras and the Nova and the supernova, and so.
It's all kind of coming together.
It's all coming. See, we had to speak to the president.
We did.
So it all would come together.
That's right. Nope, you're getting it straight from the source.
That's it. So how did you get involved with Aeon Lasers?
Gosh, how long is this show?
As long as you want it to
be. Just don't bore the people. I'm
sure everyone wants to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gosh. It actually started before lasers, just in general. I mean, I once upon a time started working for a local company selling engraving equipment, and I came on as an assistant to the head sales rep. So there was only one sales rep in the company, and at the time, lasers were still super expensive. We didn't sell any of those. We were selling rotary engravers. So we were selling the kind that use an actual cutting tip. So you use a physical cutting tool to cut stuff. and things were going really well, and I had just stumbled upon like all this information about advertising online, and I came to my boss at the time, who was the owner, and I was like, hey, like I really think I can improve our online traffic, and that should do a number for our sales and stuff. And he was he was super receptive and was like, yeah, like let's do this. So I got this cushy role as like, trying to be like, the SEO slash, marketing manager.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that for them. And, I think I did it for about 2 weeks. And then the boss's or owner's wife, who also worked in the company, was like, what's this guy doing? And I'm like, oh no, I'm building, all this marketing for us online and all this stuff. And she's like, show me what you've done. And it's like, well, I read all the analytics and, showed her how we're going to do Google ads. And it was all just, it was all just talk. It was like, this is what I'm going to do. And she's like, okay. So we need help, in the back today, because so-and-so is out, and, we need help making boxes back there, like packing. I was like, cool, team player. I'm going to go pack.
Right.
And so, like a week goes by and I'm like, hey, I'm still back here making boxes. Like, should I be doing the other stuff?
Right.
And she's like, no, this guy isn't coming back, so we kind of need you to hang back here. And I was like, oh, okay. It's interesting.
All right.
So another week goes by and I'm like, I think I'm going to get fired. Like, because I'm definitely the highest paid box maker in the company now. And I was like, something's going on. So I was just frustrated because I knew like they were missing a huge part of their business, and that I could definitely come and contribute to that. And here I was, being wasted away making a box. And I mean, I made fantastic boxes.
I'm sure you did.
They were great.
Yeah, I was,
structurally sound.
Yeah, I was solid, the whole operation. But at the end of the day, I was just, I was in frustration. I just made a comment like, man, I'm just going to do this myself. And the sales guy who I was hired to help overheard me, and, he kind of whispered over me. He said like, I've got the contacts for the, the vendors. He's like, and I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, they offered me actually a dealership agreement because they don't really like our boss.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And like I guess over dinner one night they might have made that known and said like, hey, can you just do this on your own and we can cut this guy out. And so, sure enough, that's all I needed. I went home and I called up one of my good buddies, Alfonso from Miami. I was like, Alfonso, I need to make a website. What do I use? And he was just like, oh, use a 3D cart. That's a good one. That's the latest one. So I was like, perfect. I hopped on 3D cart and I just started putting this website together with all these machines. And the next day I came into work and I'm like, hey, check it out. And I sent the link to, the sales guy, and he was like, oh my God. He's like, you're going to get me fired. Like, are you serious? Like, yeah, I was dead serious. We're totally going to do this, right? And I think at that point, he didn't want to tell me no, but, in his head, he was like, gosh, what have I done?
Right. What did I get myself into?
So, I was like, screw it. Like, this is what I'm doing. And I felt it, it's like, as the days went on, I kept getting, put into all these, just lesser and lesser roles in the company. And I was just like, no problem. I would go home at night and work on my website. And so finally the day came and I got called in the office, and first job I ever been fired from. And, she was like, hey, it's just business and, we're going to have to let you go. And I was like, cool. I appreciate that. Like in my head, I'm like, I'm going to go home and be your competitor in 30 minutes. Wait till I go. It's really, you're taking this really well. It's like, no, it's just business. I totally get it. I'm so glad you said that. I got all my stuff packed up already and I'm out. Like, I was already ready for it. So she was like, oh, this went really well.
Little did she know.
The easiest fire we've ever had to do.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But I went home. The site was ready enough, and we made it live. We put an 800 number up, and that first week we got our first sale, and it was like a local guy in Orlando who bought 2 machines from us, or from me at the time, because I didn't do like the half-baked speech of like who's coming with me,
right? Yeah,
and bring people out of there. But later on that came, but at this point it was just me.
Yeah.
But it was enough. It was enough revenue that it paid my whole month's salary, and it was enough to pay someone else's. And so of course I was like, hey, I approached the head sales guy there, and I was like, are you coming with your? Let's do this. And he hesitated for a while, but he finally did. So a couple of weeks later, we moved into this little duplex on the beach. It was like all we could afford. Rent was like $800, and we scraped together all the money we had left over, and it was we each put $200 in, just to kind of get the wheel turning with AdWords. So that was the absolute start of the company, and from there it just started growing.
That's cool.
And it was just it's like this is the perfect American dream story, by the way.
Right.
This is
right.
Couldn't have planned it better,
we became our ex-employers' main competitors. And
are they still in business?
They're not. No. Things didn't really work out for them for all the reasons. And they had several other sources of income. This was just one channel.
One piece of it.
Yeah, but yeah, no. I mean, we definitely. We definitely made a mark, and it was interesting to see how long we could do this without anyone finding out. And the day they finally did find out, and because we still had a lot of friends working at the company going like, oh man, today Peter found out, he is pissed. He thinks that we're all spies in the company, and it was like this hilarious little saga. But that was in 2008. That was a long time ago.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I did that. Steven actually, who was the guy who who ended up being my partner in the company, he was only my partner for about 6 months. And then he got I guess around the same time he had been applying for positions, and he got this offer to be an air marshal, which was a pure miracle because he had no law enforcement background.
Wow.
And he was like at the cusp of not being too old. He was like, it's like, here's the age cutoff, and it was right there.
Yeah. I feel really safe to fly now.
Yeah. It's funny. You know what it was though? They saw something in him, and this guy is like, he loves authority, and he always has, and I think that was his calling. And he was so stoked about it. Like, I'm going to be on a plane. They're going to teach me all kinds of, close combat skills.
Right. Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And so, Steven was, he was only there for a short amount of time. And he was like, I'll sell you my half of the company. I just, give me like $500 and some moving expenses, and,
done.
Good luck, Good, yeah. So, that was it. And then, fast forward, it just kind of took off from there. He went and did his thing. We're still really close. We stay in touch all the time. He's one of my, my number one people I go to when I need business advice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it just kind of spiraled from there. And at some point, I was like, I really need a laser. And that's where, I was like, I've got all the rotary equipment, but people call me for lasers. And so that's where, I started, trying to figure out like, whose laser can I sell? Cause back then I was just a distributor. It was such a sweet gig. Like, I didn't touch any of the product.
You're literally just like the middleman.
Yeah, I would do all the sales. It would get drop shipped to the customer. I'd do all the training on the phone and provide all the tech support.
Mm-hmm.
I did all my own books, did all my own marketing. I mean, it was a one-man band.
Yeah.
And it was, and I was just doing it in board shorts and flip-flops. And when the waves were good, I would just be like, put in a away message, and I'd run across the street and go surf with my buddies. And then run back home and sell machines. And I did that, I mean, for as long as I possibly could. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. Everyone else around my age, they just got really, they looked a lot older by the time I was done, like 6-7 years of this. they were like, man, you still look the same. And I was like, yeah, no, I found this little secret of like vitality.
Because I'm hanging out at the beach all the time.
Yeah, and it was just fantastic. I mean, I knew all of my customers, and it didn't take a lot of sales to pay my $100 a month rent.
Right, yeah.
It was such a nice little balance. But
well, and so that's something that you and John have in common is you're both from, South Florida,
yeah,
Miami. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. What part of Miami are you from?
Kendall.
Oh, okay. So
Kendall,
a little further south. I'm from the North Miami area.
Yeah, no, that's Miami. Actually, people don't realize how big it really is.
Right.
It's ginormous.
Yeah. I mean, the state itself is pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But yeah, that was definitely the setting for a lot of my initial business endeavors. Where I would attribute all of my entrepreneurship to.
I mean, I was gonna say this story sounds like every movie I've seen minus drugs.
Right, where's the drugs?
Right, it's all lasers now.
Right,
rotaries.
They're in the machines.
Yeah, it's a machine. Yeah, right. It's like, wait, were you selling just the machines, or were the machines a front for because it really like, I would sell all these machines, and then I put an away message and go surfing. It's like, really, you would board shorts and flip flops. I don't know if you got it. The newest Cocaine Cowboys is out. I can't wait till Billy Corbin gets to your story.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Containers full of lasers.
Yeah. And get this, they were lasers.
That's right.
No, but that's cool. That's cool that you were able to get into a legit line of business, but with the same model, essentially.
The same model as illegitimate business, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's living the dream, right? Like you're being like a middleman. You're not really like, I don't touch the stuff.
Right.
It gets delivered straight to the customer. Right. So I'm clean. So if the DA ever busts down my door, I'm clean.
Yeah.
Right.
Nothing here. What machines?
Right.
No, you're right. It was a dream. It was a dream job, and it's funny too because it's growing up in South Florida and Miami, people always overthought things and they never, at least the friends I hung out with, they never really came up with legitimate business plans. It was always like, hey, I've got this great idea. And it was this elaborate scam. And I'm like, whoa, right. Like, look, man, you nailed it, but just, can we make it,
less scammy?
Legal? Yeah. Hey, you're fantastic, dude. You really should be Ivy League school, not, and it was incredible. I know a lot of people like that. I'm sure you do too. It's just, I don't know what it is about, South Florida, or maybe just, I think it's a really competitive place. There's definitely this, there's something in the air, especially when you get into Miami and South Beach and all this, all this prestigious stuff that, people are just going, well, let's figure it out. I don't care. I don't care. What kind of crime we got to commit.
Right.
We want our cut.
Like, I know where we can buy the Ferrari, and I know where we can buy the boat. Now, how do we buy it?
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's always been the piece of the puzzle.
Right. You see it driving down the street. You see $1 million drive right down the street, and you're like, how can I get a piece of that?
It's true all the time. I think that was a lot of it. It was, and it would even start like, in high school. Like you'd be like begging your parents to borrow like, the Toyota Corolla.
Right.
And then, and then your buddy's driving in an SX to school and you're like, what is this? How?
Yeah.
I want to be you.
Yeah. And I feel like we all, I mean, at least in school growing up, we had hustles. Like I used to sell, fake parking decals.
Wait, nice. What?
I used to sell fake parking decals.
Really?
So I had a friend who knew
I didn't know this part.
Yeah, so I had a friend who knew how to make them. But was too he didn't want to sell them.
Too scared.
Yeah, he was too scared of getting caught.
That's me. I'm always too scared.
But he had the printer. So I didn't have any of this stuff, but he had the printer and everything. So I told him.
So he made it and you.
So he made it. So what happens is, the parking decals, you need to show proof of insurance that you're on insurance.
Yeah, and y'all never have insurance.
Right, and you have a valid license.
Right.
Well, I didn't care about that. So I'll sell you the decal without any of that. And I think I want to say the school sold them at $20 for the whole year.
Yeah.
I sold them for $15 and I gave him $5. I told him, listen, I'll give you $5 off of each one. Off of each one that you make.
Yeah.
So I had a stack of them. And the problem was halfway through the year, they got discolored because of the sun. Because they were hanging on the thing and they got discolored, but I didn't give any refunds. But I tell you another one.
This just further corroborates my claim.
Yeah, exactly. That was in high school. And then from that, it went to, I had a friend who had a burner, like CDs, and we would sell CDs.
Yeah.
And it was his thing, and I would get like, a cut off of the CDs that I would sell. I don't even remember what it was, like $1 or $2 off of every CD.
You need to learn how to be the middleman, not the one getting your hands dirty.
No, I would get my hands dirty.
Starts there.
I'm a blue collar guy. I'm blue collar. Yeah. I get my hands dirty. I can move product. CDs, decals.
I'm glad we're now legally moving podcasts instead.
Yes. Now we're moving episodes. But yeah, no, for sure. There is something in the air, and it does start young.
Yeah. No, it was very difficult to conform to any of the the predefined paths that adults had planned out for you living there, because it was just like, no, what are you talking about? It's like, go to school for how long? I can't wait to get out of school. You want me to go back willingly? And
I went for 11 years. I did it the wrong way.
Yeah. No, it was very difficult to to stay focused.
And legal, apparently.
I was one of these children that was. Here's the thing. I was always in all of the honors and AP classes in school, but all my friends were not in those classes, and so I always begged my mom, "Can I be in the regular class?"
Right.
She's like, "No." She's like, "No, you're smart. You belong in these classes, but those kids aren't any fun."
Right.
So I would always bring like the regular student, persona into my honors AP classes. And it was super disruptive. I had really good grades. I had terrible conduct. I think I had like the widest spread on our report card, where it was like, hey, you got all A's and B's, and then like the conduct's like G's and F's. And it's like, what's wrong with this child? But by the time high school came around, it was it had gotten really bad. I think senior year, obviously I figured out the whole system. I was like, oh, all I got to do is pass 2 tests the whole year, midterms and finals, and I'll graduate. So, it's a little nerve wracking if you fail the whole year, but that's what I did. It was, senior year was easy. I had all my credits. So I had, I think, 2 required classes and 4 electives.
That's right.
And I still managed a way to get into such a tight spot where it was like I had to pass 4 of my finals to graduate. So
that sounds like a whole lot of anxiety.
But I had the capacity to do it. I was just, I was bored with the system already, and I took every opportunity I could to like challenge it and be like, I will not conform. And so, it was awesome. I think one of my finals was like photography, which, don't ask me how you fail photography, but I was totally failing that class. And I think like photography was a class you would skip too. You wouldn't skip.
True. Actually, I did skip to that one.
Yeah,
you would skip your other class and then go to that class. So it wasn't even that. It was just, I guess I didn't take enough photos. I don't know.
You found a way.
But here we are, here come the finals. And like, I walk into class like, gosh, what's this going to be?
I hated kids like you, by the way. Because school was not for me. Like I'm a terrible test taker. So I have like major test anxiety. Like I would know the material, but as soon as the question was like asked to me, then it was like gone.
Oh, and you blank out.
Yeah, and so I hated the kids who like barely ever showed up in class and then would come in, take the test, and would be like one of the first few people to leave, like all confident. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I sat up and I studied hard, and I'm sitting here like I know this, and I can't remember it, or I second guess myself. And you know, would change my answer and all that. Like, I would have been. Yeah,
I was definitely that person. I was definitely that person, and it wasn't because I had some innate genius ability. I just could cram. I was the best crammer there was.
Yeah. And some people just have it. My sister was the same way. She didn't have to she didn't have to try until college, and she really actually struggled because she didn't have any of that like practice. Because she went through high school just, like, kind of showing up and was, like, almost, like, she was, like, not, like, just below, like, valedictorian or something like that. And so when she got to college and she was older.
Like, oh, wait, I got to try now?
Yeah, and she was like, I have to try. And she was like, I never had to try before. How do you do this? So.
Yeah. I bet it was a real shock.
Yeah, it was. And I was like, welcome to my life, sis.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still have nightmares about that final day of school because, at one moment I was like, man, I might actually fail and then I have to do another year.
Yeah.
And so it didn't hit me until that last day.
You're like, shit. What did I do?
I really needed to come through here.
Yeah.
So I was lucky though. I mean, like photography, I aced that final, and it was because the teacher quit. He wasn't even there. I showed up there with a substitute, and he's like, "Listen, your teacher quit, and I don't know what you guys have been doing all year. He gave us like a book, and he's like, read this chapter and answer the questions at the end.
Oh my God!
If you read it, if you complete it, you get an A for the 9 weeks, and if you answer the questions at the end, you get an A for your final."
Wow.
I was like, this is great. I was like, this piece of cake.
You got the better story of a teacher quitting. I got the bad story of a teacher quitting. Left me hanging halfway through the year. I had this sweet. I was senior year, same thing. Senior year, I had worked it out with this teacher. Like, hey, listen,
I've heard this story.
Do you need an aide? Because I needed. So I had work experience, but I needed one more class before I can leave. Like, so I had to take my 2. I think it was English and economics that you have to take your senior year, and then an elective, and then my work experience class, and I was done for the day.
That's awesome.
So I worked it out with this teacher that I had history with. He was super cool. I was like, hey, do you need an aids, teacher's aid class? A teacher's aid, because I need a credit. He's like, yeah, for sure. Not knowing he's going to like quit on me.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, for sure, you can do it. I'm like, all right, perfect. So I put it down and everything. He made it specifically for me, for my credit and everything. And then he will like take off. So now this class is a 9th grade class. I'm a senior. Mm. So the substitute comes in. I would walk in, write my name down, and ask to go to the bathroom.
And never come back.
Because thinking listen, when the teacher comes back, he's going to fix this.
Right.
When Mr. Dukes comes back,
yeah,
because that was his name, Mr. Dukes. When Dukes comes back, he's going to fix all of this.
Yeah.
Dukes didn't come back. And you know who ended up being the teacher of that class? Was that substitute teacher. He took over the class. And then he's like, so all the students knew the scam. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, he's not part of the class. I'm like, yeah, I'm not part of this class. I'm not even in 9th grade. I'm a senior.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, he just comes, they take attendance, and then he gets a bathroom he gets a pass to the bathroom and he leaves. They all knew the scam. Cause Mr. Duke's like, he's like, hey, John, do you have to go to the bathroom? I'm like, you know what? I do. And he'd give me a pass and I would go to the bathroom and never come back.
Wow.
Well, this dude, he wasn't playing no games.
He wasn't having it.
No, he wasn't. I mean, to be fair, when he first like started taking over the class, I wasn't exactly like, I would just come in, write my name, ask for, like, I didn't talk to him.
Yeah.
Thinking Dukes was coming back.
Right.
But then he never came back.
Yeah.
So then I went to his class. I'm like, hey, listen, this is the deal.
Yeah.
It's a teacher's aid credit. I'm a senior. I just need this one credit. I had it worked out with him. He left on me.
Yeah.
What can we do? He's like, well, you can take the class. I'm like, I'm totally not doing that.
Right.
I'm not taking American history again.
Yeah.
I already took it. I'm like, I already took it. I'm not going to sit here with a bunch of ninth graders when I'm a senior. I'm like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you need some copies ran off? Do you need like anything?
Bartering.
Right. So he's like, well, listen, there's this book that we're going to read, so I won't make them buy it. I just need you to run the copies off a chapter every day.
Isn't that illegal?
Huh? I don't know. It's what he wanted.
Okay.
It's Miami. Miami. There's all kinds of
So I was like,
that's frowned upon.
I was like, perfect. I knew. Again, this all goes back to I can move product.
Yeah. You're always
I knew
the dirty
someone.
Man.
So I knew a friend of mine worked in the office. First period. Mm-hmm. So I would get to school fairly early, go to his class, be like, what chapter do you need? Get the book, go at the beginning of first period, give it to my friend and be like, hey, listen, I need 20 copies of this one chapter while you're office aide. And he's like, all right, cool. Boom. After first period, I would go straight there, grab those copies, drop it off to him before my second period. And then I'm like, so I'm here, right? You mark me here and an A for the day. He's like, yeah. Boom. I didn't even have to go to the class and ask for a bathroom pass.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then at the end, he's like, at graduation day, I'm walking. He's like, I gave you a C. I'm like, you better give me a C. Better give me something to pass.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my story. You got the lucky end of it.
Very similar. Yeah, no, I got the good one.
Mine walked on me and left me high and dry.
Yeah, mine left at the right moment. He just got out of the way and was like, hey, here you go. Here's your pass. But yeah, I was very fortunate. I think that was a big part of it because I just, my parents couldn't get me to go to college. They tried. They really did. They were like, you gotta go.
My mom was so glad I graduated high school. She didn't even care. She was like, you graduated high school. Good job. And she it wasn't until my job paid for college and all of my friends were going to college and struggling to pay for it. And I was like, okay, and my boss at the time was like, you really need to, take advantage of this opportunity. And I was like, ugh, but I really I thought I was really done. I hated school and I still do. So,
I always had a problem. We had a class called career research. Did you ever have that one?
Yes. Where you do you answer a bunch of questions and they tell you what will be good for you or something like that.
Let's figure out, what you want to focus the rest of your life on.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, here you go, guys.
My mom paid a workshop for that.
Yeah.
She did a workshop.
Yeah.
And I went.
Well, and I never knew what I wanted to be.
But it was in a class.
Same.
I still
I didn't like any of those jobs.
Well, and that's why I also didn't want to go to college because it's I have zero goal in mind. I'm not gonna do well. My sister, who again had amazing grades, they forced her into college right away, and she didn't know what she wanted to be. And a year later, she's on academic suspension because she's failing and not going and all that stuff. So they definitely didn't push it on me for that reason. But yeah, it took me a long time to I knew I was creative, but I couldn't figure out how to turn it into an actual job or career.
Right.
Well, it's funny. I think that it comes kind of full circle right now because I think that's what I like the most about what we're doing right now and selling lasers is that the vast majority of our customers, they've never even used a laser before. And, traditional teaching would be like, well, hold on. You don't have 8 years of experience,
Right. Yeah.
I've got a credit card and, I
have money.
An empty space in my kitchen that I can put this thing in. Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's just so cool from my side of the table to just see how many people actually succeed at this.
Well, let's talk for a second. Remember when I was really, really struggling, I wanted a Mira very bad, but I just didn't have enough money. And Danny was he talked to me for, I don't know how long, giving me all these different ideas of make digital, cause I had just opened my digital shop and he was sell your digitals, run Facebook ads, talk to family. And I mean, I did all of that. I asked my dad.
Go ahead, Danny, make that money.
Right? I mean, but it was great though, because it was like, he was just kind of like getting me, like he was motivating me to get there. Yes, it was like a business move, but like,
well, yeah,
he went above and beyond.
Help me help you.
Yes, exactly. And I asked my dad, and my dad straight up told me no. Well, he told me he would think about it, and he thought about it for a really long time and never gave me an answer.
Still thinking.
And right, pretty much. But it was so amazing to tell him, like, I actually didn't need your money, and I was able to, like, it was paid off before it even showed up in my house. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I forgot about that for a second. But yeah, it was like, because I was so pissed at my Glowforge, and I was like, Danny, I need this damn laser because I'm gonna throw this Glowforge out the window. I need a bigger one. I need a faster one. Yeah.
Well, in Glowforge's defense, it wasn't.
No, it was not meant for that
for
at
you to
all.
stretch out the way you were stretching out.
No, and it was almost 2 years old, and no,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely did its job, but my job had just kind of, I had outgrown it, but didn't necessarily have the capital yet, and I didn't want to have business debt yet, and because my business was so young, no one was giving. What do you call it? They weren't giving loans. Also, COVID ruined that.
Right.
I tried to get a business loan, and they're like, unfortunately, like, normally, yes, you just need the 2-year, business mark and good numbers, and we'd totally give you a loan, but unfortunately, because of COVID, we're not giving any, like, they weren't even giving small business loans anymore.
Unfortunately, everyone's going under.
I was like, oh. Okay, cool. Great. I'll figure it out. It's fine.
Well, no, it's actually funny because that's actually where, the rise of Aeon started happening over here, is because there's so much COVID. Disruption and income. Yeah. And so many people were like, gosh, what am I going to do? So many women, that would call in and are like, hey, I stay at home with the kids, but my husband just lost his job. So I guess I got one more kid to take care of,
Right.
Oh man. I get those calls all the time. And I was just amazed because, here I am with my first child going like, how do they do it? I'm already going like, and I'm telling you, I've got like this perfect kid, like he's just super well behaved, calm. He didn't throw any tantrums. You tell him like, hey man, let's go. It's time for bed. He's like, all right, cool. I'm going to bed. Thanks, Dad. I'm like, wow, you're amazing. But it's still, it still takes a lot of your time.
Oh yeah.
And you're constantly just, you're doing something for somebody else the entire day. How do you find time to do something for yourself?
It's
much
rough.
less, decide like, oh, you know what? I'll just carry the financial burden of this entire household.
Right. Yeah. I got
while I'm at it.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just amazing. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen a million people, try a million different ideas of how they were going to make good money.
Yeah.
And fail in so many ways, get arrested or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
To them. But, here I am just watching like one after the other and hearing these stories of like, oh, I made $18K last month. And I'm like, man, I wanted to make that.
Right.
Show me your ways. So it's super cool. And it's really fulfilling because I think like, man, that's the ultimate. That's what I've been all about this whole time. Like, you waste all this time trying to fixate on one path, one goal.
Right.
And then, you end up lost because you go, well, I didn't really pick that. It wasn't really my idea. This didn't work out the way I thought it was. Now what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, in a laser, you can start out that way, but it's so versatile. It's like, you can change your mind any minute you want and do whatever's happening, whatever you decide to do next.
It's literally like unlimited. You can make a million different things. Like, I have how many, South Florida laser friends, and almost none of us are doing the same thing, and not even close to stepping on toes.
Right.
Because there's so many things to do, and even if you do the same thing, yours will look different than your homies or the person down the street or whatever. Heather and I, we both have a digital shop on Etsy, but we're in no way really like competition to each other, because she has her style, I have mine, and we have plenty of overlap in customers as well that purchase from both of us. So
that's amazing. Yeah. How awesome is that? I still can't figure and to me, I'm watching, on our end, we're going, there's not enough lasers. We're trying,
we need more
our
lasers.
Factory is just like, there's smoke coming out of that factory all day long.
Right.
It's still not enough, because, when they finally get to the point where they're like, all right, hey, we can meet your demand. I'm like, that's great. I think we just doubled our sales from last quarter.
Awesome.
Again, it sounds like all the movies I've watched just with lasers.
Yeah.
Just with lasers.
I need more product.
Yeah.
That's right. There's not enough. Yeah, no, it's really amazing. And I gotta say, here's the other thing. You would think at some point or another, you're gonna get people that, they just fail naturally. One, they don't have the time for it. They're just not good at it. And I thought for sure by now I at least would have had one person reach out to me and say, hey, I want to return this thing.
Yeah.
And it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. And we've sold thousands of lasers right now. And I know some people have sold theirs.
Right.
They've never reached out and said like, hey, this didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
They've just, for whatever reason, they've just decided, oh, it wasn't for me. Or, maybe I got in over my head. But
well, and I don't know if you probably don't know Stephanie's story, but she got her, I think, a Mira 9. I'm not sure if it was a 7 or a 9. I think it was a 9. And she got it, and I don't even think she had set it up yet. She might have gotten it out of the crate, I think, because it was in her basement. Mm-hmm. And then I don't even know if I told you this, but she ended up getting her dream job on a set of a TV show.
Oh.
And had to sell her laser because she was literally packing up her entire house and family and moving to Georgia.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So she had to sell hers, but not necessarily because it failed, but because exactly. She kept her Glowforge.
Sure.
Because she's still, she's doing set design. Yeah. So she's doing set design, and her laser work, I think, is actually kind of what ended up helping her get this dream job, because she has no experience in set design, but they saw her dollhouse and what other designs. Oh, okay. Yeah. And I think the studio even planned to repurchase the laser for her, once they get settled, in the house and stuff like that, because they know that she can use that laser to turn it into, at the very least, prototypes for things for the set, for the TV show. Oh, yeah. So even though she sold hers, it was because she sold it for her dream job, and lasering helped her get there.
That's cool.
So,
that's right.
Yeah.
No, it's you're right. It's always the people I have heard sell theirs, it's never been for, one of those reasons of, I hate this laser.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of products people get disappointed with, or they just feel this isn't what I was promised.
Right. It's all what you put into it as well, because the training and the help is all there as long as they're willing and open to using it to their advantage, just with you guys, because you guys are amazing as far as, customer service and help and all of that goes. And then, people like Emily and, just the groups and stuff, there's all the help they need and some, as long as they're open to getting it.
That's right. Yeah. You just have to take the initiative. I think everyone that's bought a laser from us is, at some point or another, I've spoken to them on a Sunday night,
right.
or whatever it might be. It's because I get the distress emails. I'm in that chain.
That was me a couple weeks ago. Yeah. I called in and I think David was the tech, and it was whoever the girl was who answered the phone, and I called and she's like, oh, well, he's on a phone call right now, but he'll call you back soon. And I'm like, okay. And like 2 hours went by and I'm like calling back like, hi, still panicking over here. And she's like, oh, he's still on a call. And I'm like, for 2 hours. But I mean, it totally makes sense because I mean, you guys, when he finally called me back, you know, he FaceTimed me and helped me like square up my lasers because I had my first collision, and your first one is always terrifying. But it's like a rite of passage the first time you have a collision for whatever reason.
Yeah, you're getting jumped in.
Exactly. I'm still jumpy every time I hit autofocus. Now I'm like, ugh. I got my hand on that emergency stop. But, you know, so I called him and he walked me through it, you know, through FaceTime. And I was like, oh, well, this is why it takes him 2 hours to call me back, is because he actually gives that person, you know, the time they need in order to fix their problem. And then you guys came out, last Monday, right, babe?
Yeah, I think last Monday. Well, we had to reschedule, but yeah.
Yeah. And fixed me right up, and it's like whisper quiet now and amazing. So
yeah, it made this terrible noise that I thought was normal because it did it from day one.
Yeah, so did I.
And
I never really
come to find out
looked into it. Well, until I was on FaceTime with David, and then you know I'm fixing the autofocus pen, and it makes this horrible noise, and I'm like, "Is that normal?" And he's like, no." I was like, "Oh." Okay, well, can we fix that? So
that's an interesting point. Yeah,
yeah. She was like,
"How do you know what's normal and what's not?"
Well, right? Yeah, I had no idea because Heather's did it too, and so it was like, "Oh, okay." And then Heather got all fixed up and never told me that hers was fixed up.
Thanks a lot,
still
Heather.
Right. So I'm still over here with Mr. Screech every time I autofocus my material. But now it honestly makes me appreciate how quiet it is, especially compared to the Glowforge. Well, and the Glowforge. Yes, that was like a jet engine.
That was terrible. That was terrible. Even with that, what was it? The hose and the fan,
the inline fan,
and all that. It was still like, I mean, especially compared to this one, that one. And I was a little worried about this one, given that
its
the
size.
Glowforge was so loud in its size, and then this thing, I'm like, oh, here we go. All right, no more TV for me. I'm gonna have to put the headphones on for this one.
Right.
But no, it's she runs it in there. I don't hear it out. I mean. So I hear it, but it's not at all like over. Not like the Glowforge where I couldn't even like watch TV. Well, I could, but I had already have seen it, so I didn't have to like really listen to any of the dialogue too closely. Yeah. But this one's great. And then like you said, now that they fix them up, and it's from the outside looking in. Every time you call them, you're always on the phone with them.
Oh
and they seem to respond right away.
It's night and day from. When from Glowforge, I mean, you had to send them an email and wait at the very least several hours, and then you got a canned response back.
Well, it's just,
and then it was several days.
It's just great customer service.
Yeah, there was never a phone call. There was never like one-on-one training. There was never any of that. So yeah, very appreciative of what you guys got going on.
You know what you're doing over there.
That's awesome. No, I love it. I love hearing it. I mean, you know, it's that's been part of the biggest challenge, I think, has been instilling that kind of care and thoughtfulness and selflessness into everyone we hire.
Right.
And you know, it comes as a shock to a lot of
not everybody's built that way.
No, they're not, and they don't think the company wants them to be that way either.
True. You know, well, most companies don't. Probably.
You know, like somewhere else they would be like, David, why'd you tell her machine's noisy? You should have just told her it was fine.
Right,
you know?
Right.
Then we got a tech going to her house. But in my head, I was smiling the whole time because I was like, wow, this all happened and I never knew about it. And I was like, good job, team, because you guys handled it all the way I would have.
They did great.
I didn't have to get involved, and that's always been the thing, because I definitely, despite coming from Miami and this mentality, like I really have never had this scarce mentality of like, oh, there's just not enough to go around. We can't afford to do this or that. I mean, we sell a ton of lasers, we know that at some point or another, something's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
And it just, to me, it's logical. To me, it's easy. I'm just like, are you kidding? You got to take care of these people. They're the ones that are gonna, talk about your company, recommend you, buy the lasers, and it's just the right thing to do. Like,
well, yeah, it translates into more sales because, I mean, again, had I had these issues and I didn't get that help, I may not be telling everybody who listens to like go get one. Like, oh yeah, it's a cool laser, but maybe you should, look around at your options. Like, no, like, yes, things happen, but what comes down to it is like how you guys handle it when that does happen. And some of it was user error. Some of it we think even happened like, at the factory. But again, there was no question in whether or not we were like getting it fixed up. It was not sure how that happened, but you're good to go now. And it's like, great. I don't care how it happened because now I'm good,
Yeah, there's a number of things. And I think that's one of the bigger challenges too is, there's been so much disruption, our supply chains especially.
Oh man, yeah.
Okay, the person that made this bearing for us last year can't make them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So now, mid build, you're going, we need a new bearing supplier.
Right.
All right, let's try this bearing. And so, you don't have the time to say like, well, let's just stop everything
and
let's
test these out for 3 months.
Extended time of you don't have that luxury, and so you go, no, we've got to put the bearings in. The factory's really good about that. They find the answers quick.
Yeah.
But we find out about it about the same time you guys found out about it sometimes. It's just like, hey, my machine's making a noise. We're like, really? Why?
Yeah.
And then the factory's like, oh man, that must be those new bearings we put in there. Like, what new bearings? I didn't hear about these.
Right.
Like, don't worry, Danny. Just send the tech.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the challenge because it's so I mean like my parents are the complete opposite of me. When they ask me like, how's business going, and I give them a little glimpse, my dad's like, oh my God, I don't know how you're handling this. Like, if it were me, I'd stop everything. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but God.
That's also why you're not running the company.
I was like, I got this, Dad. We can't stop everything from happening. You have to just you have to adapt, and that's the ticket there. It's like, I love that Darwin quote where it's like, it's not the strongest or the most intelligent species that survives. It's the one that is most apt to adapt first. Mm-hmm. And that's what we do, because it's like, okay, let's just run with it and let's do what we have to do. And no matter what, we're going to adapt to the situation.
Yeah.
If we have to send you a new machine, we'll send you a new one.
Right.
We'll figure it out, on our end.
You sent one to Kathy recently.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
And she's been super happy, and she's been talking about all the tests and stuff
Kathy.
that she does.
She's so great.
She's so great. She'll tell me, she'll go on and on about all these tests that she does, and how she did this cut at this and this speed and this power and this, and I was like, that sounds awful, Kathy. She loves it. Like, I hate testing. I find I run like a couple, 3 different settings, and it works once, and I'm like, perfect, there's my settings, until it doesn't work anymore, and then I'm like, ugh, okay, maybe I should do some more testing. Like the other day I had to do some more testing on my score settings for veneer because it's super thin, so my my settings were not strong enough, so I did like 3 little line tests and found one that didn't go all the way through but still made a mark, and I was like, done. But Kathy, she would have spent a whole day on it and got like the most perfect pristine setting.
I believe it. Yeah, I know. She's super meticulous, and she enjoys it.
Yeah, she loves it. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember from day one talking to her, going like, "Man, this lady is really smart."
Yeah, she is.
I was really, really, really impressed, and but that's the other part of the puzzle too, is you just never know who you're gonna get on the other end.
Yeah.
And so, some people, you'll talk to and you'll be like, how long has your machine been making that noise? And it's like, you never said anything to anybody? And we're like,
it was about a year for me.
Yeah, that's you, right?
Yeah. It was a really long time. And he said that the bolts were like dry. And he was like, the grease, he's like, grease doesn't go anywhere. He was like, so it probably never had it. And I was like, yeah, it did make that noise from day one. But again, I thought it was normal, so I just went with it. And it wasn't hurting necessarily anything. It was just loud for no reason.
Sounded like it was.
Yeah, it did sound like it was, but it wasn't.
I was like, oh, that's that noise for that much money?
For that much money?
I don't know. But
and that was user error because I guess
that's how they come from the factory. I guess that noise isn't making. I know if my car was making that noise, I'd have to take
whatever. Okay, I know I probably should have looked into. Especially,
hey, listen, I didn't say anything to you.
2020.
I didn't say, but I didn't say anything.
You should have. Why didn't you?
Because I was in the same boat. I was like, well, she knows more about that than I do. I guess that's normal.
Listen, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. I'm just doing the best I can with the knowledge I have at the time. And the knowledge I had at the time was, that's normal.
Lasers are loud.
Yeah.
My last one was loud. This one's loud too.
Exactly. Yeah.
This one's only loud once when she lifts the tray up. That's all.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I think it's great that, able to overcome issues like this and see things in kind of a light manner. And, I think that's what I like the most. That for some reason, most of our customers are like that. You know? And we do have a relationship with them that goes beyond just, hey, here's money, here's the machine.
Right.
Well, let's say that's probably why you have that, your customers,
that type of customer.
Yeah, that type of customer, because
you
guys are transparent and you genuinely want to help. So, they're not gonna, like, if the machine's making like, hey, I paid all this amount of money and my machine's making this loud noise. No, because they know you're gonna help them. So they're like, hey, my machine's making this noise. Is this normal?
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm glad that that's the situation.
Yeah.
But it's been, right. And, I think, I think that's one of the things that we're really just, focusing on the most, where, other companies will just spend all their time talking about their features and stuff. And I'm like, no, man, like, features are great. Don't get me wrong. I can nerd out all day about our features. I can. But when someone's asking me, like, why should I buy your machine? I'll say, like, hey, how much is the other one? How much less is it? Because I know that's always the conversation.
Right.
Like, it's
this one's,
$2,000 or $3,000 less. And I'm like, all right. Think of this scenario.
Yeah.
It's the holiday season. You got a ton of orders to do. You're cranking them out. I mean, you're getting your payday going.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, your laser stops working. It doesn't even fire anymore.
Right.
You're down. You lose a whole afternoon of work trying to figure out what to do. You're missing your deadlines. Now, you've got to email your customers and start telling them that you're not going to be able to deliver on time. Some more time goes by. You're refunding some money. People are canceling their orders. How excited are you going to be at that moment about how much money you saved when you bought that machine?
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's all out the window.
And they can't help you. Yeah.
Whatever you save, it's just bleeding out. And it's, at that point, that's where I'm like, you need a lifeline. You need someone that actually has been in that situation before and can empathize with you right away and say, like, hey, I know exactly what's going on.
Right.
And this is something we prime our techs with, is like, you have to understand something. If somebody calls you and they're upset because their laser's not working, it's not just that.
Right.
You have to understand all the stuff that is riding on that laser working.
Yep.
That
like me when I called back and I was freaking out.
So it's it's one of those things where right away, like, okay, we need to figure this out. What is it going to take? Can we do it over the phone? Is that the fastest way?
Right.
If you need parts, if we overnight them, do you have someone that can put them in, or do you know someone that we can hire over there that'll do it? Like, that's always our mindset, is like, let's find the fastest way to get this thing going again.
Yeah.
and sometimes it means putting somebody on a plane and sending them over. And you've had someone at your house, so it happens.
Yeah. And I mean, thankfully I'm more local, and that's why, I mean, so it was,
thankfully for me too. It's
right.
It's
a lot cheaper.
Like, hey, just drive there, dude.
Right. Well, and so it was, the bed issue we were initially going to do over the phone. He was like, we'll schedule a time, because it didn't need to happen right away, obviously, because I had been dealing with it for almost a year. And, we got my laser head square, and I was, back and working. So that was the most important part. And then we scheduled a call for, that next week. And he was going to walk me through how to like loosen some belts or whatever, and to troubleshoot basically. And I didn't have time then because I had friends in town, and then something else had happened, and it was just like a fluke of like the metal bar that holds the LED lights on the left side had bent somehow. And then I was, basically hitting it again, even though we had fixed my collision issue. And so then it was like, okay, and then I needed to like recenter the lid to my laser. And I was like, okay, one of these things, I got it. I can, we can schedule this. We can do it over the phone. I can have John help me because he's more the like technical brain, and we'll handle it. And then when it was like 3 things, I was like, so can we have a tech come out here and do this a lot quicker than I can with you guys walking me through this, on the phone? I knew it would be way easier and it wasn't things that I necessarily like needed to learn. I did need to learn how to re-square my laser and, replace the autofocus pin. So that was definitely something that I was valuable to learn. These other things were, I hopefully shouldn't ever have to do them again. So it's not like I really, right. So it's not like I really needed to like learn that skill to be better versed in, running my laser. So I was like, I'm like local-ish. Can we have someone come to my house?
It's funny. We have the same conversations internally. Sometimes Leck, he's our VP, and he'll anytime there's an issue that gets escalated to him, he immediately will talk with me about it, and we'll sit here and powwow. And the first thing, we're usually both doing it at the same time. We're Googling the address. Where's this person live?
How far? Yeah.
Because sometimes we already know. I know when I have an opportunity to walk someone through something, and when the opportunity, is gone. And so, we're definitely not, so blind to it that you have to yell and shout into our ears that you need help. It's like, well, we can see that a mile away. Like, hey, she's not going to be able to fix this, dude.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to have to send somebody. And then, the conversation just goes into, well, who do you want to send? And then we just, from there we just handle it. And sometimes it's funny. There's been a few times where we've sent a tech and we totally forgot to even tell the customer. So it's like, we have this tech at the airport calling the customer. And
no.
Like, hey, are you home? I'm coming over.
They're like,
and like who is this?
Hey, like, missed a step.
And so there's been a couple of situations.
Yeah, you were just so like laser focused on solving the problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tech visit. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really what we're guilty of the most.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll get so focused on what the solution is that we forget the communication part in between.
Yeah.
And that's been one of the tougher things. It's like, oh man, we got so many people on the staff and so many things going on, and with the laser, it's so many details. And it's like, we need to, this all has to be so transparent. And, people should definitely know when a tech's going to knock on their door. Like that's important.
Yeah, a little bit.
Even though no one ever complained about it, I'll tell you that.
Right.
No one was like, oh man, the Aeon guys here.
Yeah.
They were like, come in.
Right.
I'll make you lunch.
Right. And I was like, do you need water? Do you need anything? The bathroom's down the hall.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I love that part about it because it's, I'm the first one every time I've ever, and we probably had the same conversation too. I'm like, listen, this is like buying a car. I'm not going to sit here and say our cars don't break. The others do. It's like they all have an issue at some point or another. You're going to need some maintenance. And if something simple like a sensor goes out, like, it's going to drive the whole system crazy.
Yeah.
You've got to have somebody that can look at it or diagnose it. And there's not very many companies that are going to really just say like, hey, we don't have a freaking, like a limit on how much we're willing to help you.
Right.
Because a lot of places,
do.
Well, it's
That's
like an insurance
the crazy
company.
part. Yeah, like, some do. They're like, oh, well, you get the free, 1 hour training or 4 hour training. And if you need any additional training, well, that's an extra, like, $1,000 or $1,500. And I was like, whoa, they do that? Because, again, my two experiences are Glowforge that doesn't, can only do so much. And you guys. And so it was like, oh. They give you training and then they're like, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, the night and day. Yeah. And here's the thing that I think Glowforge might have done a little different. That might have helped. I don't know. I'm forever grateful because most of our customers are Glowforge graduates.
Right.
And they come to us like, a lot of times in tears, but a lot of them, they've got a lot of positive behind them.
Oh, totally. Concept, yeah.
And they're confident, they know what they're doing. It's it's an easy transition. But it's difficult to start a business with a machine that the minute you get up and running, you just, you hit your head on the ceiling.
Yeah, if you have a successful month, I can't tell you how many times I hear people like, oh, I outgrew it in a month or two because you had, either a solid customer base already, and that's almost all you need to be successful. And then, or you have like one thing that goes viral, which happened to me on my damn Glowforge. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh shit, how am I going to make, how many naughty ornaments on this Glowforge? I had to outsource to my friends who had mirrors. I was like, okay, who's doing the fuck flakes? Who's cutting out dicks for me? Because I can't do this all on my Glowforge. I need some help.
You're right. Yeah. That really is, those are the two biggest things I think right there. One is someone going to help you out when you're in a jam? Because it's going to happen.
Yep.
So if you're going to mount your whole business on a machine, and that means whoever you bought that machine from is now officially your business partner.
Right.
I don't care how else you look at it.
No, it's true.
That company is intertwined with your business, and you need to be able to rely on them when push comes to shove. Hopefully, they are as understanding, or they have been in your situation. They can say like, oh yeah, let's just send somebody out.
Right.
But I'm willing to bet most companies are really tight about how they spend their money after they make it from you.
Right. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I'm just super proud of, because I'm like, yes, I didn't turn into a greedy asshole.
Right. You're from Miami.
Everyone warned you about it. Like, don't change, man. Like,
they wrote it in your yearbook.
Right. So, and I think the other thing that really is huge is you have to have a machine that produces quickly.
Yeah.
And it baffles me how many people overlook that, because like, it's, you're signing up to, it's like if you're applying for a job, and both jobs pay the same, but one job is from 9 to 5 and the other one's from like 9 to 2.
Right.
And it's like, which one do you want? It's like, no, 9 to 2 job,
Right.
It's like, well, hold on, the 9 to 5 one has, and it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
we shouldn't even be having this conversation. Like, let's just be real about it. Like, you're going to make the same money in 2 hours, 3 hours less time.
Yeah.
Now, what you do with those 2 or 3 hours is up to you. You can spend it making more money, which is probably what I would do. But people do other things like exercise, or like wash your car.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they
take care of 2 little kids.
Apparently, other things are more important than lasering and making money out there. And you get to choose.
Right.
You get to choose what to do with it. And I think that's one of the biggest things that, you know, we run into from time to time. It's like, hey, it's us against, you know, brand whatever. And you're just like, did you tell them how much faster it was? Like, yeah, I told them. But they said the handle is better on the machine. Like the handle? Like,
well, like, I mean, I changed out my handle. And it was what, like $10 from Home Depot?
Not even.
And I think the handles are even different than the handle I got like last year. But yeah, they do kind of come out with some weird like rebuttal.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that handle is awkward to hold.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, but it comes in yellow. Their machine comes in yellow.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't start. You've done so well.
It is definitely interesting. Yeah, there's been a few people that are like, you know, I like the way your laser looks. It's like,
I mean, that is true, because I will say that like the competitor, I do not like. My colors are red, white, and black, and it's a black laser, and it's very nice looking as far as laser goes, and yeah. I agree. I like how it looks.
Here's some Aeon insight that I don't think a lot of people know about. But the Aeon machine was designed outside of China, and that might explain why it doesn't look like, you know, most lasers that come out of China. It was actually engineered by a company in Turkey called Almira Tech, and then this company did a fantastic job. I mean, these guys were they were all about it. And they partnered up with the president of Aeon, who at the time had created that enclosed rail system with the, you know, with all of the, you know, all the moving parts that were protected from dust. So it was just, you know, these two people started working together and they created the whole design outside of your typical, I would say that the Chinese environment where, you know, if you look at most lasers that come out of China, there's nothing that's invented by those companies. What they buy is they pick and choose out of the parts that are available to them in their country. So it's like you'll see the same laser heads and the same rails and the same cabinet. And I mean, like these things just get recycled. And so what you're buying is just a kit, you know, and everyone just has like this different kit and they just put their, you know, they try to make it look a certain way so it's more attractive. But they all perform the same way. You know, they all basically have the same exact specifications to them. Some companies have gone above and beyond. I have seen a few that I'm like, wow, they did a really good job with what they had. But no one goes outside of that box and says like, you know what, I'm going to design my own laser head. I'm going to make my own rail system, one that's going to last longer and that, you know, you don't have to clean. And so that was the thing that when I first saw, you know, an Aeon, I was like, whoa, this is different. I was like, they're making this in China? I couldn't believe it because I had already gone through enough lasers and I knew what I was looking at. And so I was like, this is not normal. And they're like, no, we did our R&D outside. We do all of the assembly here in China. And then I was like, you know, they were just like, we just need somebody in the U.S. that can just, you know, carry it on. I was like,
I'm your man.
And so that's been like, you know, our part in it has been, you know, pretty extensive. I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize how much time and energy we put into it.
Yeah.
And it's not because they can't do it in China. Yeah. It's because the people in China are focused on quantity and cost.
Yeah.
You're not going to squeeze any quality out of that.
Yeah.
You're just not. And, you know, most people don't realize this, but the workforce in China that is actually educated and has skill sets, they get eaten up right away by all the big mobile and phone companies. Like the people building lasers, these are like your teenage summer jobs. Like these are not, you don't have like this, you know, like egghead technician building your machine. You know, you've got somebody that's 18 or 19 years old And his job is like, hey man, you better get this done before the end of the day, or we'll bring somebody else in who can.
Right.
So, and that's really the extent of most of China, because it's like, this is about quantity and be able to meet demand and push product out the door and do it for an affordable price.
Right.
So if you want quality out of that, you got to kind of take matters into your own hands. And that's kind of where Aeon Laser USA was kind of founded. It was not the cushy little gig I had in my duplex where I would surf during my lunch hour anymore, and I wouldn't touch the product. Now it was the opposite. It was like, hey, here's all the product, and you have to touch everything in it. And it, at one point the factory was really struggling from COVID, and they just didn't have enough people, and we're just like, hey, just send them, just send what you got, and we're going to fill in the blank. Just let us do what we got to do. And at one point we were getting machines in that hadn't even been wired yet, because we were like, hey, we'll wire it. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. Just send it.
And, out of that came the birth of our own handmade wiring harnesses, because at the time we had no choice. And that was one of those situations where we're like, man, we're going to make our own harness. We didn't count on that. But after we did, we were like, why would we stop? Like, this is perfect. We're making it here. We know it's good. There's a lot of high voltage running through this thing. I feel more comfortable knowing that our people made this thing by hand. And that we're putting them in there, and it just safe. Adds that.
Because it's in people's homes.
It's in people's homes. And it's like, and are you going to really trust that guy in the factory was,
who wanted to be off by 5
guy? Like, no, this guy, like, he had a plan. There was a party to go to. These are young individuals. They're not concerned so much with raising a family right now or maintaining their job. They're just like, hey man, this is my whatever money. So that's why we have such an extensive role in this, and we spend so much time going through these machines meticulously, because we know that they're not going to come all out perfect. And even if they did, you're talking about a sophisticated piece of equipment that once it's built, and you can say, all right, the factory did it perfect. All right, so now what? You're going to put it in a wooden box, and you're going to stick it in a metal box. And then you're going to throw that onto a boat.
Country.
And I don't know, I mean, if anyone's watched any videos of what it's like
to
go
at the port and
the planet on a freaking boat. But let me tell you, like, those machines do not
no.
It's not a smooth passage. Okay? Like, containers fall into the water every year. It's actually a thing.
That's nuts.
It's container pollution is real. And like, it's like, you're going to hit a 50-foot rogue wave. You think your laser's going to show up the same way?
Squared. Squared and ready to go.
Factory? Get out of here. So that's one of the things that we're just like, hey, no one is going to open a machine and turn it on for the first time and figure out like this catastrophe. Like we're not going to allow it. So that's been a nice part of it. It's just being able to touch it all. I mean, it surely complicated the system
just
way
a little bit,
more
I'm sure.
than we had anticipated. But at the end of the day, it really did pay, dividends, because people felt more confident knowing like, hey, the quality control is being done in the United States. The wire harness is being made in the United States. Everything's being tested and checked. And I know that this laser ran before it landed at my house. And I'm not the first one to try it in our country.
So John, I'm sure, does not want me to ask this, but what's new and coming, and what am I going to want to buy?
That's awesome. John, if you want to walk away for a little bit, I can handle this question on my own. There's a lot of new things coming. Well, here's the exciting part. Here's another great part about this, because, I am happy to say that because we play such a major role in the Aeon line. Aeon is not a rebranded laser. This is the name of the brand as it was given to us from the factory. So we're representing Aeon China. and we're their people here in the U.S. But we struck a really good deal.
Yeah.
Most of the money that's coming into these sales, we keep it here in the U.S. You know, we've got a big staff.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got health insurance, you know, and we've all got plenty of things that we want to improve on. And one of them is we're moving into a new place. And this has been something that we've been trying to do for a year now, but it's hard to move into new places.
Yeah.
And when material costs go really high,
it makes building,
even much harder to move into new places. But we are moving into a 22,500 square foot building, which is about 7 times the size of the place we're in now.
Right.
And it should be done at the end of this year. So I think the beginning of 2022.
And is it same city or?
Yeah, we're going to be in Melbourne. We're staying local, and you know, it's all the money's getting put right back in. It's just we're creating more jobs and more opportunity.
Awesome.
And one of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to bring more of the assembly process into the U.S. So, you know, we're going to see, we've got a lot of big equipment coming in that does a lot of cool stuff. And that's something that I'm really excited about, because ideally, you know, if it was up to us, you know, we would start making them here. You know,
right. Yeah.
You know, and it's just it's just one of these things that I don't think a lot of people think of, because, you know, most laser companies, if they're selling a foreign product, they're probably getting a decent little cut, but it's not enough to reinvest into the brand.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting a finder's fee, the way we give our partners, right, and our loyal customers a finder's fee. That's how most of these companies operate.
Which, by the way, if you didn't already know, I am an Aeon partner. So if you guys want one, hit me up.
Please click on the link. You know your disclosure verbiage.
Yes, it's all on there.
Crystal does get paid if you click on the link and you buy a laser.
Yes.
But that is not the only reason she is speaking highly of them.
No, and I've said that before, that, you know, just because I would get a payback would not be like, I'm just not like that. You know, if I'm telling you about it, it's because I like it. And even someone used my Glowforge referral code the other day, which where they found it, I have no idea. But it's like, I would tell them the same way, you know, the positives and negatives about that machine for me as well. It was still an amazing starter laser, and the reason I could afford you know, an Aeon.
Right.
I have to sit there and think about it before I say it every time. But they were the reason that I could get one, because I can guarantee you that there's no way John would have let me, you know, drop that kind of money on an Aeon right out of the gate with no experience.
Well, the company paid for it. It's not coming out of my pocket.
Right now it did, yeah. But yeah, so I only do that because I absolutely love and appreciate mine and the customer service that you guys give. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, and I hope this part also makes you feel all warm and fuzzy about it, because it's just
yeah.
I think it's important. It's you know, a lot of people realize that we lost a lot of our manufacturing capabilities. Mm-hmm. You know, once it all went overseas, it was done for. But that's just the beginning of it.
Right.
A lot of these business models now that China is working on is factory to consumer. So at least now you still have the ability to sell a foreign product and create a company around it.
Yeah.
But that's slowly going away too.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're talking about all of your money, that whatever you spend on your machine, all 10,000 of it going straight overseas.
Yeah.
And that's going to really put us in a bind, because then you're 100% dependent on, you know, this foreign entity here. And all your money is going back out and not staying within our little circle here. So I think that's one of the things that I like to highlight is like, hey, we're reinvesting in us, you know, and it's like we've got a good deal with the factory. We've got a lot of reasons why they need us now, and you know, they realize that it's a really good partnership, but it's a good split. You know, they get their cut, but the majority of it stays here, and we put it back to use.
Yeah, and you guys do.
We're going to get to see a lot of great new products. We're working on all kinds of innovative stuff.
Can't wait.
We're definitely going faster. We're definitely going bigger. We're definitely going with more power.
Yeah, that new one I showed John. I said it doesn't have an auto. Yeah, I was like, it doesn't have an autofocus, and I don't even remember all the stuff. And I was like, it has a bigger bed, and I was like, it has this thing. He was like, you barely use the one you have now. You haven't even made a big sign on your big one now. I'm like, yeah, but like it has. And he was like, no.
Yeah, that.
But I want it. I definitely don't need it, but I want it.
I was gonna say that a lot of the ideas for that machine came from your feedback.
Right. Yeah.
That's, when the factory's like, hey, we want to redesign something, we're sitting at the table going, all right, here's what we want to see, because here's what our customers are telling us.
Yeah, that they want. Yeah.
It's kind of nice to have that full circle, but I'm excited because, this building, there is a lot of space, and we'll
have to come out and see it.
Gosh, yeah, that's gonna be.
And when we have a fancy podcast studio or video yeah, we're going in that direction.
That's awesome. I'm excited. Yeah, you guys are both welcome. I'm sure we'll have a grand opening and we'll invite everybody.
Awesome.
I definitely want all our customers to come out, and half of the building is going to be just dedicated to manufacturing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be nice, and we're going to come up with some really cool stuff, and it's going to empower everybody. I mean, some of the stuff we think about designing isn't even for new equipment. It's to improve just the equipment that we've already sold.
I mean, when he came out, I asked him, I was like, oh, so what'd you guys do? There was like 3 or 4 things on the list. And he was like, oh yeah, we did all that. And then he was like, we upgraded your shocks on the door, and they changed out like a whole bunch of things that I didn't even know like what those things were. And I was like, oh, well, cool. Thank you. He just, was like, well, while we're here, they upgraded like other pieces of my equipment. I don't know what else I think he changed a couple belts in a couple places. And even when the machine, I did a test engrave, and it was quieter engraving, and I was like, what else did you do? Because this is this is quieter. It wasn't loud before, but I could tell, it sounded different. And he was like, oh no, I told you we changed out a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, well, thank you. It wasn't like you guys just came out to change and fix those 4 things.
Minimum.
Yeah, you way more than I even asked for. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's always a conversation. Is like, while you're out there, we did change these next things on all the new machines. So it's like, why don't you take care of that? Because it's not a mystery. One hand washes the other. We rely on our customers. You guys are the reason why we're so successful, and vice versa, right? It's like we're providing you with the ability to be successful too.
True, very true.
To so many ways. So it's like, to me, it's super clear. I'm like, this is symbiosis.
Yeah.
Right here. It's all happening. So, why mess that up trying to be all stingy about it? Like, no, you need to buy the new machine. Like, I've always hated that.
Yeah.
I think, it's just, I think part of it has been like, I know I know that money isn't everything. And I think that's important to understand, because most people that are put in my position don't realize that just yet. And so that's what they make their goal. It's like, oh, how do we squeeze the most out of this? And I'm like, no, I've lived in a duplex and had ultimate bliss.
Well, hey, I don't think any other presidents of laser companies are spending their Monday night talking to us for.
Not yet, but they should be.
They should because
they're going to be lining up now. Are
right?
you kidding?
Well, they were too slow. Damn it! And I'll charge them money to be on the show.
So we will definitely be taking you up on that invite to there, because that's great for content on Patreon. Like some nice exclusive, some nice exclusive content.
Good.
If we're not up and running with the video cast. At least
Yeah.
we could offer that one time, like
totally.
video, you know, and maybe talk to you in person, which would be great. But you know, we won't take up any more of your time. It's like you said, not many presidents take time out to talk with us. So,
that's right. I forgot presidential obligation. No, I appreciate you guys. I know that tonight wasn't the ideal scenario, and I'm glad we were able to put it together and have this talk.
It never is though in business too. It was like, you know, choosing how to. It's like, okay, well, when are we going to reschedule this? And then it's like, when are we going to slip it in, you know, somewhere else? And I was like, let's get this out. Yeah, exactly. You got to do what you got to do. It really was. It was easier to just push through rather than try and figure out a time that worked. So, you know, thank you for being flexible and even offering to reschedule. But we made it happen.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show. And
likewise. Thanks for having me.
I mean, I'm guessing it's AeonLasersUSA.com, right?
.us. AeonLaser.us.
.us. All right.
Yeah, and check out the user group on Facebook too. That one's a good one.
Yeah.
The operator, Aeon Laser Operator Group is where all our community kind of hangs out. And they help each other out and talk about their machines.
And even people considering them too. I've seen that.
So, yeah. No, we encourage it. You know, someone's saying like, oh, you know, I'm not so sure, or I'm trying to figure it out. Like, join the group. Just join the group. Talk to people. See what's going on there.
Yeah,
this is the real deal.
Cool.
We won't let you down.
Well, thanks again for coming
Danny.
on. And that's another great episode of the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
Bye.
See you guys.
Maybe we're all done.